students, I'm Himani Sharma, your educator. I warmly welcome you all on our YouTube platform where we in today's video are going to deal with some important concepts which are related to the field of research aptitude. So what are we going to do? We are going to talk about plagiarism and its types. Now, whenever we want to feel like doing research, we know that we need to refer to certain works. कुछ चीजें हमें पढ़नी होती हैं. But if we are writing a research paper, or for that matter, if we are writing a small research essay even, we need to properly cite the person, the work, the book, the journal, article, etc. that we are referring to, right? So we need to make sure that whosoever is there, जिसके work को हम refer कर रहे हैं and उनके work को अपने work में cite कर रहे हैं, we should be properly giving that person the due credit. Now, one thing which is mostly seen in research as well is that sometimes plagiarism is the one thing जो intentionally or unintentionally हो जाता है. Plagiarism in simple terms is basically copy pasting किसी और का काम और उसको अपना कह देना. ठीक है? Now, so what are the different types that we have for the same thing here? Number one, we are going to talk about the proper definition of plagiarism. So as you see, it's the act of using someone else's work, ideas or intellectual property without proper acknowledgement, presenting them as their own. If I am reading someone's book, I will have to tell in my research paper कि मैंने ये book पढ़ी थी, ये idea मुझे यहाँ से आया. If I'm not referring or giving the due credit to the author, to the intellectual property, to the article, to the book, etc., I would be considered as someone who has committed or done plagiarism, right? So we need to make sure अगर हम किसी भी work को refer कर रहे हैं that we are properly giving the due credit to the person जिसको भी जिसके work को जिसकी book को we are referring to, right? Now, what is the importance of avoiding plagiarism? Why should you be avoiding plagiarism in your works is, number one, academic and professional consequences. If you are going to use someone else's work and call it your own, first of all, आपकी PhD रुक सकती है. There might be certain legal actions also which can take place against you, right, legally and professionally as well, because of course you're going to bring some sort of negative stance on your own self if you are showing that you are an intellectual but you are not, because you are using somebody else's work and calling it your own, right? Ethical considerations and maintaining integrity. You want to maintain the integrity, then we have ethical considerations. What are ethical considerations? They are related to the morals and ethics and principles that one should abide by when they are writing their research paper. So there are many ethical considerations कि आपको honest होना चाहिए. If the participants do not want their information to be presented in the public forum openly, तो आपको उनकी information जो है, you have to make sure that you are hiding or you are making that information confidential, right? So confidentiality is also some ethical consideration. So is the case with plagiarism. It is also an ethical consideration. You'll have to make sure that whosoever's work you are using, whosoever's paper, article, छोटा सा essay you are using, you are referring to get an idea or clarity about the topic that you are interested in, you are citing, you are giving that person the credit कि हाँ जी मैंने यहाँ से ये idea लिया था, यहाँ से मैंने इसके बारे में पढ़ा था. I have read it from this particular paper, this journal, this book, so on and so forth, right? Now, what are the different types of plagiarism? It has very many types. So, एक एक करके हम लोग types के बारे में देखेंगे. First type is normally known as copy and paste plagiarism, right? इसको हम अगले आने वाली slides में verbatim भी बोल सकते हैं. So, verbatim and copy and paste, they both are same but with different names. Directly copying text or content from a source without proper citation. Now, what is citation? Whenever you are taking somebody else's lines, किसी books में से lines ले रहे हो ना, तो आपको उनको usually quotes में डालना होता है. And that too accordingly to the style of referencing that you are choosing. If you are choosing MLA, APA, that will totally depend. तो आप bracket में क्या करोगे? जैसे for example we have Ruskin Bond, ठीक है? तो हम रस्किन बॉन्ड कौन सी बुक जो है वो एंड में आ जाएगी, देन व्हाट पेज नंबर ऑफ द बुक 47. You'll have to make sure that you're giving the author the true credit for the lines you are using. But when you are not putting them in quotation marks, आप author का नाम नहीं दे रहे हो, आप simply copy paste कर रहे हो, then it would be known as copy paste plagiarism. Copying a paragraph from a website and pasting it into your essay without quotation marks or a citation. Even if we are taking material from a website, no, we'll have to make sure that we are citing that website, that this idea, this quote, this line has been taken up from this particular website and is not my own. So this is the very first type. Then we have the second type, that is paraphrasing. Now what is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing in simple terms is that you are reading some piece of work, you are writing it in your own words. That is what we mean by paraphrasing. So rewriting hoti hai paraphrasing, rewriting someone else's ideas or work without proper acknowledgement. Let's just say if I come across any research paper that is related to smoking and its correlation with lung cancer. Now I have read some XYZ का पेपर मैंने पढ़ा है, वहां से आइडिया लिया है. Now I am not, citing it directly. मैं उनको नहीं बता रही उनके आइडिया को लेके. What am I doing is that whatever he or she has presented in their paper, I am just going to change the language, writing the same idea that they have already given, but just rewriting it in my own words so that it cannot be plagiarized. That is known as paraphrasing plagiarism. Rewriting a section of a research paper in your own words, but not providing a citation that I have taken it up from this particular source. Then we have mosaic or patch writing. What are mosaic or patch writing? छोटे 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 टुकड़े जिनको जोड़ के collage something बनता है, right? Same is the case here as well when you are combining copied and original work without proper citation. So let's just say you are writing 2 paragraphs of your own work and you are taking 1 paragraph from some other article, then again from some other article, but writing your, so basically mixing and combining your own original work with the already copied one, again without citation, right? Citation आप नहीं दे रहे, आप उस author को, आप उस writer को, you're not giving any due credit to the author and writer of that particular essay, piece, work, whatever you are referring to, right? So taking phrases from various sources and patching them together, that's why patch writing, without proper acknowledgement, right? Then we have, this one was third type. Then we have the fourth type, self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is that, let's just say I have already written a research paper on a particular topic. Previously, I will present it as new. उसी टॉपिक को, उसी चीज को, अपनी जो लिखी हुई है उसी को कहीं और पब्लिश करवाने के लिए अपनी साइटेशन नहीं देना, राइट? सो मतलब बेसिकली अपने वर्क की कॉपी दूसरी जगह दे देना. दैट इज सेल्फ प्लेजरिज्म, दैट आई एम plagiarizing my own work that I have already gotten published in some journal, right? Submitting a paper you wrote for one class to another class without permission or acknowledgement, because this is also a rule that if you have gotten your paper published in one journal, you should not be getting the same paper published in another journal. That is what is also plagiarism. That is what is self-plagiarism. So if you are submitting the same paper, getting it published in 2 different journals, you are doing self-plagiarism. 2 papers में same अपना 2 journals में same paper publish नहीं कर सकते आप, ठीक है? Then we have, this one was 4th. Now the 5th type is accidental plagiarism. This is done unintentionally, where you are careless. There might be some other reasons as well. That's why you unintentionally failed to cite sources properly or misunderstanding the rules of citation. You could not really or clearly understand that अच्छा MLA style ऐसे है, APA ऐसे है, शिकागो ऐसे है, आप लोग को आइडिया नहीं है, इस वजह से आप गलत साइट कर रहे हो. That is what is accidental, गलती से हो रहा है ये plagiarism. Forgetting to include a citation for information that is not common knowledge. तो इफ लेट्स जस्ट से मैं कोई शेक्सपियर के प्ले से एक लाइन ले रही हूँ लेकिन मुझे साइट करना नहीं आता है, ठीक है, क्योंकि मुझे नॉलेज नहीं है, unintentionally हो रहा है. So that is being done unintentionally from my side. If I'm unable to grasp the concept of citation, I am careless with that understanding, right? I do not know how to cite properly a quote from Shakespearean plays, right? That is what is accidental plagiarism. This is as same as the copy paste one, directly copying text without quotation marks and proper citation. So copy paste plagiarism and verbatim, both of them are same. No need to write it again. Then we have collusion. Collusion means collaborating with others. आप सब लोग के साथ group work कर रहे हो, लेकिन जब publish कराने की बारी आती है, then you are just getting or giving your own name for the credit, right? So you are collaborating, you are getting ideas from different people. That's a group work, but you only are going to take credit for the same. So that is known as collusion, collaborating with others, but submitting the collaborative work as an individual, calling it your own work rather than the work of the entire group. That is what is known as collusion plagiarism, right? Working on a group project and submitting the same content without indicating the contribution of each member. So let's just say if there were 6 members in my team with whom I wrote one research paper, जब बारी आती है to get this paper published, I just give my name and I don't give the 6 members, the other 5 members, the due credit that is required, because each one of them have contributed in one significant way or the other, but I'm not giving them due credit. That is what is collusion plagiarism. Then we have ghost writing. This is 7th. Then we have 8th, ghost writing. This is a very, very dangerous type of plagiarism, where you are hiring someone else to write a paper or assignment for your own self, right? And then calling it your own work. जैसे बच्चे जो हैं बाहर से अपने 10th 11th में what happens is that वो हार्ट वाले डायग्राम्स आते हैं जो प्रैक्टिकल्स के लिए, तो स्टूडेंट्स get it made from the different practical shops जो होती हैं practicals बनाने के लिए, और practical books ही बनवा लेते हैं बाहर से और कहते हैं कि मैंने करा, right? That is what is known as ghost writing. You are not writing, you've hired someone who's writing for you, you're paying that person, but rather you're calling the work your own, right? Paying a freelance writer to compose an essay and then submitting it without proper attribution that it is not written by you, ये नहीं बताते आप, क्योंकि आपने hire करा, आपने पैसे दिए, you are saying that this work is written by you. Then we have source code plagiarism. This was 8, this is 9th. This is mostly in the field of ICT and all. When you are computer coding होती है, ठीक है, तो उसमें कुछ कोड्स होते हैं, कुछ फ्री होते हैं, कुछ होते हैं पेड होते हैं. प्रोप्राइटरी सॉफ्टवेयर सोर्स कोड, ऑब्जेक्ट कोड, उनके जो होते हैं सोर्स कोड वो फ्री होते हैं, राइट? So when you're copying some computer code without proper attribution, that is known as source code plagiarism. You're taking the source, but you're not giving the website या source code बनाने वाले को उसका credit. You're not giving the due credit to the person who has created the code or written the code for the same program, right? Using code from an open source project without acknowledging the original authors, right? So open source software तो वैसे या open source code तो वैसे ही available होते हैं in the market freely to be used by anyone and everyone. But if you're not giving the original contributor, writer of that particular code the due credit, then it would be considered as source code plagiarism, right? Then we have idea plagiarism, when you're taking ideas of someone and calling them your own, presenting someone else's original idea as your own without giving them the due credit. तो अगर मैंने कोई नया टॉपिक देख लिया, right, or let's just say if I have seen that some company has created a coffee mug which stirs on its own, and I also start producing the same mug, and I say that this innovation is done by me, but वो market में already available है, so I'm calling the same product my own. I'm not giving them the due credit. I'm taking their idea and calling it my own, right? Using a unique concept from a colleague's presentation without acknowledging them is also an example of idea plagiarism. Then we have image and visual content plagiarism. Here you will take images without कुछ भी graphical content है, without acknowledging the author or creator of that particular image, you use that image, right? Incorporating photos from the internet into a presentation without crediting the photographers. Most of the times तो हम लोग ये करते ही हैं, that we are incorporating the images from different sources. So this is image and visual content plagiarism. And then we have cross language plagiarism. सारे plagiarism देखो एक बार के लिए, that all of them are self explanatory. नाम ही पढ़ लोगे तो आप समझ जाओगे कि क्या है, किस टाइप का plagiarism है. So cross language is basically translation from someone else's work into another language without proper citation. So let's just say, agar I have read somebody else's research paper and after reading the research paper in Hindi, I'm translating it to English. But I'm not saying that I have translated this original work, but rather I'm presenting it as my own because the idea was really nice. That is what is known as cross-language plagiarism. Translating a research paper from one language to another without acknowledging the original source is known as cross-language plagiarism. आप language बदल के उस काम को अपना कह रहे हो, जबकि गलत बात है वो. Plagiarism करना ही गलत बात है. Then we have incremental. The last type is incremental. Failing to provide proper citation for individual elements or ideas taken from different sources. तो आप बता नहीं पाते हो कि मैंने कहाँ से ideas लिए हैं. Incorporating facts or ideas from various sources throughout paper. आप डाल रहे हो कि इतने प्रतिशत भारतीय ये चीज बिलीव कर रहे हैं. This % of Indians they believe in this particular idea, etc. But you're not backing it up with the citation. You're just हवा में ही facts उड़ा रहे हो. That is known as incremental plagiarism. Right? So I hope the types of plagiarism is clear to you all. Now, according to UGC guidelines, etc., which are related to plagiarism, there are these levels, 0 to 3 levels. And the question has been asked from this particular, levels ka part, which I want you guys to be aware of and take a note of here, that there are different levels to be quantified into the following levels in ascending order to severity for its definition. ये सबसे लेस सिवियर है, सबसे कम हार्मफुल है, ये सबसे ज्यादा हार्मफुल है. ठीक है, तो लेवल 0 मींस इफ योर रिसर्च पेपर, योर डिसर्टेशन, योर थीसिस एटसेट्रा हैज सिमिलैरिटीज अप टू 10%, कुछ नहीं होगा. लेवल 1 सिमिलैरिटीज अबव 10 to 40. Level 2 similarities above 40 to 60. And there was a question in PYQs, they have asked 42% of plagiarism in some person's work would be considered under what level? So now you know the answer, it would be level 2. Then we have level 3 where similarity is above 60% and इसका सबसे severe भुगतान देना पड़ेगा लोगों को, क्योंकि severe देना पड़ेगा क्योंकि 60% आप किसी और का काम लेके 40% अपना कहोगे तो of course that is something to be questioned, right? So these are the levels. I would want that you guys note it down by pausing the videos if you feel like. Now, what are the penalties? In each level, there is some sort of penalty. Level 0 पे 10% तक if there is plagiarism, minor similarities are there, so no liability is there. तो आपके ऊपर कुछ भी फाइन वाइन कुछ नहीं होगा. 10% तक plagiarism it means according to UGC guidelines that are related to plagiarism levels. 0 level जो है 10% तक your paper can have plagiarized content, right? Level 1 works with similarities above 10 to 40%. Such student will be asked to resubmit a revised script within a stipulated period not exceeding 6 months. So 6 months के बीच लेवल 1 वाले इंसान को अपने वर्क में गलतियां ढूंढ के प्लेजरिज्म को कम करके in the upcoming 6 months he or she will have to resubmit the same thing, right, making changes to reduce the plagiarism level to 10%. Then we have level 2, similarities above 40 to 60%. Such student shall be banned from submitting the revised script for a duration of 1 year. तो 1 साल तक आप अपनी जो भी स्क्रिप्ट है, अपनी PhD के लिए थीसिस लिखा होगा, you will not be able to publish that. You will have to wait now for 1 year so that you have some sort of idea. तो आपके ऊपर 1 साल के लिए बैन लग जाएगा. Then level 3 similarity, that is more than 60%. Such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. उनको कोई सुपरवाइजर नहीं मिलेगा, उनको प्रोग्राम जो है वो कैंसिल कर दिया जाएगा. Whosoever has written a research paper which incorporates 60% of plagiarism. आप समझ रहे हो, 60% किसी और का काम आपने कॉपी पेस्ट करा है, 40% खुद का डाला है, then of course you will be liable to some sort of punishment or any sort of penalty. So these are the penalties. They can ask the penalties as well. You can note them down. Now what are the consequences? Academic consequences, आपकी grades हो सकते, grades के ऊपर फर्क आ सकता है. You can get expelled from the program. Professional consequences में damage to reputation or legal issues, because they can also file a case against you, right? Depending on what type of plagiarism has been done. Now, how should you be avoiding? You should be knowing that अगर आपकी styles of referencing APA, MLA, Chicago, Turabian styles हैं, then you should be referring to your supervisor. You should be referring to proper websites to cite your sources according to the recent edition of anything, right? So proper citation and referencing करनी है. Using plagiarism detection tools, we have tools like Grammarly. We have tools like Turnitin. This is the best software to detect your plagiarism, of course, and understanding the rules and guidelines for citation style so that you are not committing any sort of error while citing. आपसे गलती से भी ना हो जाए. ठीक है? These are the ways in which you can avoid plagiarism. Now, other tips as well. Developing good research and writing habits so that your language is polished. And जब आप 4-5 research papers अपने ही styles of referencing से लिख लेते हो, then it becomes easier for you to cite resources. So you should make it a habit that you're getting your research papers published more frequently and in a nicer, polished language, so that the writing, the citation, etc. works perfectly. Seeking guidance from instructors or mentors, you can ask questions to your supervisors, to your mentors, etc. And understanding the importance of the original work, because अगर आगे चल के आपने अपना original work दिया है, somebody else calls it their own, आपको बुरा लगेगा. So whosoever's work you are citing in your research paper, एक तो उससे क्या होगा, your research paper would be considered valid, that this person who has written a research paper is well read, क्योंकि इन्होंने बहुत सारे papers पढ़े हैं, बहुत सारी books पढ़ी हैं, articles पढ़े हैं, and that's how their research paper has such evidence that is supporting the statement or the claims that the researcher is making. Correct? So you should be able to cite the original sources of the works that you are citing, and citation should be done properly. Right? I hope this video made all your doubts clear when it concerns the plagiarism, different types, and the levels that are there. I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.